Deep work. That's what we're talking about today on Gold Mines and Landmines. Paul Borghese, nice to see you again this week.
Hey, Jess, how are you?
I am doing great. And you sent me a text about deep work. Ooh, it's very intriguing. A lot of people may not know what that phrase is. I couldn't say that I could define it if you asked me, but I know more because you texted me and have some thoughts. But tell us what deep work is.
I read the book a couple of years ago, but it bears repeating. Many people may know that. When it brought your work into deep work and work that is constantly interrupted. Deep work, when you have to do something for hours and hours without interruption. But who has that nowadays? Because if you think about it, we have constant interactions, constant notifications. If you work for a company, you might be using the tools and it will get constant notifications. And your boss might value it with monthly responses. But you have to concentrate for hours. So this is part of what I call is interruption is part of systems. You have to have this system where you wake up your day into a work and where you can be interrupted and answer emails, answer notifications.
Yeah, I think it takes a combination of tools and systems, tools to maybe quiet some of that. And also, I guess, us realizing it's not time management, it's me management. I got to manage me. And I know I've had this conversation with my two adult children who say, TikTok ruined their brain. Thankfully, as long as it wasn't me who ruined their brain.
Here's the
Uh,
truth.
but they said that they're, working on something, and then you find themselves scrolling over here and, I got to go back over here. And then, you're on some website. And me too, by the way. It's very easy to get distracted. So I'm curious if you can share with uh, one or two different strategies that we can employ that aren't necessarily Adderall, with nothing against Adderall. But I know that some people will take it. I don't know if you count it as recreationally, but take it because they can get into this deep think mode for hours and hours and hours, and sometimes to the detriment of their health if it wasn't prescribed to them and they're getting it from who the heck knows. But anyway,
Yeah, well, you can think about it two ways. You have people watching a podcast that might watch with someone, and you have to negotiate with your boss and say, look, I have this lecture, I'm going to be taking out for 2 or 3 hours. But a method that you can use, there have been studies done where it costs 95 cents a dollar per email to a notification. Think about it. You have to shop and the subject time to answer the notification. Your brain needs to stop and needs to answer and needs to then get onboarded to deep work again. So you are constantly going to eat it out and you can't do it. It happen nothing on the body. The dog investigation. Doesn't think about it. So I see that metric because when you talk to your boss, you can wake it up and say there have been studies done where it one productivity and it has been measured.
I like it. So what's a good strategy? What's something we could do today?
Well, if you work for someone, you have to talk to your boss because in today's world, you have to quote unquote show that you are busy. And the one, I've had boss said he respond immediately. He said, where are you? What are you doing?
Me too.
Because I wanted to answer.
Yep.
And you have to negotiate with them. As I got my emails and notifications. And that is another
Batching.
strategy where you say, okay, I'm gonna work for 2 hours, then I'll check my notifications and emails. You have to tell your boss, tell your coworker, if you are working alone, it sounds too because you had to constant emails. And I linked it into Odysseus. You know, Jess, that I'm fascinated with Odysseus. And Odysseus will become, of the honest, will become more and more prevalent in today's pop culture. Looking at pictures of Nolan movie coming out in December, and the part of the picture that is relevant is when he is touched by the sirens, Sirens. They were they had changed over time to be Roman demons that sang to the sailors to lure them away from their missions onto the craggy rocks. So the sailors would crash and die on the rocks. And so I like the notification bells and the email bells to silence. They coax you away from the deep ones, and you have to like this kid. He had his men tie himself to the bed so he can experience and hear the notification, but ignore them. And I'll be anxious. I'm not gonna turn off the notifications. I'll hear them and I'll have to avoid them. I have to say, no, I have to be in my zone. Or I'm doing it. I'm putting my phone away from my desk. I'm concentrating because I'm a runner essentially. I need 2 3 hours to get into the get into zone, get into flow state to
Yeah.
run a page or two.
Now, you were talking about employees, and you and I have worked for ourselves for many years. And uh, obviously, a lead for something important can come in and can mean six figures. And we need to pay attention to it. But I've taught. I mean, the main thing I teach is presentation training and media training. But I've also taught a lot of soft skills, including time management. And we get notifications on our phone. We get notifications on our computer. The same exact one. I'm getting the same exact one sometimes on my watch. I'm getting three of the exact same one. So just for me to give a strategy to people today, even just saying, okay, I got to ask ChatGPT or the internet how I turn it off so I'm not getting the duplicates because I'm going, oh, okay. For the same exact thing. You can have it in one place, but I'll have it where almost everything is turned off from my watch. Too annoying. All day long, it would be buzzing. And if I'm ever just resting, it's very hard when you feel right, on your wrist. And you go, oh, is that a text? Oh no, it's a health app that I downloaded once and never used that's telling me, how about now for you to try bran? It's going bring up something that you don't have time for. So anyway, people at the very least just direct it to one spot. And what I found, my phone sits on a charger all day. If I really need extra focus, I might turn it over and face it down. And I found now I'm 90%, I'm not paying attention. On occasion, it buzzes 2 times. I'm thinking someone's texted me 2 times, and I might peek at it and see what's what. But even doing that, because usually people have it either like this, I have it like this, and we keep seeing what's what. I actually just I think got an alert from my son Miles, who's at college. I'm calling Nana later. Um, and he wants to make sure that he's getting full credit. You need to call. So, we're doing this podcast, and I wrote back to him. I, so, in the midst of you saying focus, and we're doing this podcast, people, we all need to focus. We need to do a better job because all the studies say we should. Any last thing we should leave people with? I think this was an important one.
Because it's really, really consistent. If you think about it, you block some time to get things done. It's significant. And tell people I'm not gonna be available 2 or 3 more hours. I do that in the morning. I talk to my partners. I'm running a bus. On my book, or I'm preparing for my podcast. Please email me because I have email. I don't have the things. I have the things on my phone. And people always go, if there is an emergency, call me because I don't know what other people, I don't get phone calls anymore. I'm eliminating all the spam phone calls. So if I get a call, I know it's from a family member and there is an emergency. I pick up.
And for anybody paying attention who's 25 or under, calling is this seldom used app on your phone device.
God.
And it's a voice only communication, just making sure people
Voice.
know because they probably are not that familiar with it.
That's right.
So yeah, it's an excellent point, and there's different modes of communication that are important for different things. And I think this is a skill that we all have to have. We have so many interruptions. I just had a conversation earlier with a business friend of mine who's actually the publisher of my book, my last book. And I'm 54, he is too. And the thing that we realized over time, I was distracted by an alert, no joke, as I peeked over there. The thing that we were talking about is, listen, we're over that line, that 50-year-old line. I 100% see the world differently, which means we only have so much time here. What do I want out of it? Do I want to spend my whole day chasing and responding or reacting to things, and what things or people should I crowd out, and what things or people should I let in, and all those things ebb and flow, I guess, over time. But deep focus, is that what it was for
It was,
deep work?
I mean, my time. Because the many sailor in ancient Greece lost their lives because they heard the siren songs and they were crushed on the rocks. And if you think about it, every day I think if I get 2 or 3 hours of deep working, or was it just running around? Again, I emphasize negotiation. If you are working yourself like we are, we have a little bit more control. But if you work in a work environment, you have to make your colleagues, your boss aware of this concept of the work. It's a good have to code or you could have to run a report. You need the time to do it.
Yeah, there is a way to do it, whether it's your boss or the other people in your life, or even having an autoresponder that says, I only check email 2 times a day for
That's
people to
good.
know. And obviously, like you
Right.
said, you should call me if it's an emergency. Then they know, okay, I'm going to prioritize if this is an emergency or not. But the people who do this say that their life is better and happier. And, even though I said, oh, I could miss a lead, or what happens if I'm not paying attention to something? Probably 99% of the time, it's not going to cause any trouble, and it'll only make our lives easier. So
Yeah.
we want to know what people think. Please put it in the comments. And we hope that this was a good gold mine for you and eliminating a landmine.
I'm a landmine, really? Savage.
Yes, you named the show, and you gave both a gold mine that is dealing with a landmine. Love it.